Okay, everybody, time for the digital marketing news this week. I hope you had an awesome week. I hope things are going good for you. How was your week? I'd love to hear about it. I'd also love to hear about what you think about this digital marketing news. I've got some interesting stuff. So, all right, first thing is a new looping video app launches. It's called Byte, B-Y-T-E, and it's a competitor to TikTok. And it's actually by the people who originally created Vine. If you never used Vine, it was really cool, super fun. I used to make some funny stuff on there, back in my 20s. And so the actual old creator of Vine, Don Hoffman, one of the co-founders, he announced this project a couple of years ago, Byte, B-Y-T-E, and it's coming back onto the scene. So keep an eye out for that. It could be the new TikTok. Next thing, Google is allowing webmasters to temporarily remove sites from search results. So there's a new version of this tool inside of Google Search Console. So if you want to remove something from search results, there's a new tool that will allow you to do that so that you can temporarily remove things. Next thing, web pages with featured snippets will no longer show twice on page one. So I basically developed a methodology where we can get featured snippets for clients. So that's that kind of text box at the top of the page, and that text box often gets pulled out in red for voice search, and it's very prominent. So I've done that with a lot of our web pages and a lot of pages for clients. But now what they're saying is that instead of having that featured snippet and also another listing on that page within page one a little bit further down, which is usually the case, now they're going to kick some of that secondary listing to page two. So I actually kind of think this is a good thing. I liked getting the double result, but I think it makes sense because it's going to provide a variety of different inventory for other people. But the reason I bring that up is because it could really impact your analytics, because if you were getting a 30% click-through rate on the featured snippet inside of Google, and then you were getting 5 or 10% click-through rate further down on the page, then you would have had more traffic, and now you might have less traffic. Next thing, Google Dataset Search Engine emerges from beta. So Google has this really cool search engine that basically allows you to search for different types of data. Like if you wanted to try to figure out a bunch of information around puppies, like how many there are in the world, what they generally eat, whatever, right? It's a search engine just for data. And so now that's coming out of beta, and you can go ahead and maybe give that a shot. It's kind of a cool feature they have. Next thing, Google says one violation will not result in a manual action. So if you do one little thing, you're not going to get a penalty. But if you do 2, 3, or 4, you could. So don't do too many. And then Google also says don't bother signing up for do profile links. So there used to be this SEO strategy a long time ago where people would create just tons and tons of profiles out there, and they would put links back to websites. And they are saying that that's not maybe the best strategy anymore, but there's a couple caveats to that I'll touch on in just a couple seconds. So local listings, incredibly important. So that kind of debunks this a little bit. So you need to be on all the major local listing sites, name, address, phone number for local SEO. Also, you need to be on the major sites, right? If you think about it, Facebook, Yelp, Crunchbase, all these sites, all the social profile sites, those are really profiles with links back that are incredibly powerful as you build up authority to them over time and build communities and whatnot. So I don't know, Google needs to think just a little bit about what they're saying sometimes. Next thing is Google, a bunch of Google stuff. Google launched this new format for their desktop search results like last week. And I don't know if you saw it, but they changed all the different icons. So the icons all looked a little bit different. If you looked at the ads, it would be icon, 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 all the way down to the organic results, and they all looked a little different instead of looking the same. For me, it was super confusing, and it made it so that I thought they were trying to game the system to get more people to not click on ads. By the way, we just had an industry study come out today, actually, on SEO and intent, and we saw that 85% of people still prefer to click on organic results opposed to ads. So anyways, this new interface that they had did not go over well, and they're pulling it back. So they had such a big backlash that they're pulling it back. Which I found really interesting. I was not expecting that. It must be a PR nightmare for them for that. Next thing, content marketing is expected to grow in 2020 a lot. So according to a new report from eMarketer, 80% of marketing professionals say content marketing will grow in 2020. But here's the caveat, and this is interesting because I was talking to a large prospect about this yesterday, but basically 90% of marketers are going to go out of the box and they're going to look at like podcasts. They're going to look at video opposed to just traditional blog posts. So we also did another industry study recently, which is interesting, that said that people are most interested, 56%, I believe, of people in that study wanted to read text content more than they wanted video or audio. So most people still want text content on the web, but marketers are trying to mix it up with podcasts and with videos and things like that. By the way, check out our recent podcast. I interviewed Jeff Fisher from LMA Marketing. They're a partner of ours. And we talked about how to do multi-million-dollar media planning. We have a couple really large national clients together. And so we talked about that process. So check out that podcast. It's on all the major podcast networks. Next thing, a new survey comes out that says that marketers are taking more ownership of customer experience. So that's kind of interesting because I think that that's the case too. Like in marketing, you kind of get this whole idea of like the funnel and when somebody comes in and when they become a customer and then, if they leave and like the whole thing. So one of the things I've done here, developed something called a customer journey map. You should do the exact same thing. So exactly when somebody learns about Ignite Visibility, when they come in, and the vision for them to become the ideal perfect client for us, right? The amount of transactions they would do till they eventually have a multi-channel approach to their digital marketing, and we're helping them in all the different areas. And so every contingency and way that the customer would go through the business has been thought of and has been mapped out. So, I think one of the reasons I've been able to do that well is because of the marketing background. But there's probably a couple other reasons. But anyway, so Gardner says that customer management, customer experience is becoming a much bigger part of marketing roles. Next thing, Bing is rolling out real-time indexing. So this is big for all my SEO people out there. So now large enterprise sites, they can submit to Bing via this API pilot program, and they're doing this through something called Botify. And that's going to allow them to get things indexed in real time. So that's kind of big. I would imagine people are going to hear that, like the opportunists out there. They're going to try to game the system, create these APIs and get all this stuff indexed really quickly. People are definitely going to try to take advantage of that. Okay, so that's it for the digital marketing news this week. Always some interesting stuff going on. If you're running a large website, try that Bing real-time indexing. If marketers are taking more ownership of customer experience, if you want to try to put that on your plate and you're in marketing, you can probably make a case for that. And then look for ways to use Google's dataset search engine that might give you some actionable intelligence for your business. And then finally, check out Byte, B-Y-T-E, that launched this week, I think. So it's a brand new thing for you to give a shot. Hope you had an awesome week. Like, comment, subscribe. I love to hear from you. See you next time. Bye.